Why networking built my entire career and the rooms that you need to be in. I get this asked all the time. Sam, what are you actually doing at all these events that you go to? Is it really worth it? The travel, the late nights, the small talk, the tired mornings after? Oh my God. The short answer is yes. Absolutely yes. But my longer answer is the one that really, really matters. Because networking, turning up, shaking hands, listening in rooms full of strangers has quietly shaped almost everything I do today. My portfolio, my finance brokerage, the people I trust, honestly, the whole direction of my career has been massively helped by this one particular thing. So today, I want to tell you the real story of how that happened, warts and all, the good, the bad, and the very, very tiring. And then I'm going to tell you exactly which rooms you need to get yourself into. So let's get into it. Before we get into the video, I just wanted to ask, do you have a property funding requirement or a property funding problem that needs a solution? If so, reach out to me at Merryoaks Property Finance. Merryoaks Property Finance is a brokerage that I set up in 2021 to support SME property investors and developers like myself, like you, with all of your funding requirements. So if it's development, bridging, commercial, anything property finance related, the more complex, the better as well, because we're very used to those types of things. If you're a portfolio landlord, whatever you might need, let us know. Reach out to us. Let's have a conversation and see where we go. Now back to the episode. I really hope you enjoy it. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Sam Lowney YouTube channel. Yes. We're going to do something a little bit different and a bit more personal today. So no tax policy, no governmental arguments about this, that, or the other, no term sheets or lender complaints, no spreadsheets, no analyzing deals. Today, it's about people. Two of my favorite things in life are property and people, hence the reason why we've also got a YouTube channel called Property People. Go check it out. But this is about networking in specific, about why I genuinely believe that leaving your front door and turning up is one of the highest return things you can do in this entire industry, and I'll prove it to you with my own story. I think people, to do business in general, need to leave their own front door. It's why we exist. So no big disclaimers needed on this one. Just grab a cup of tea or a cup of coffee and let me take you back a few years. So let me take you back to around 2017. I just come back to the UK after living in Hong Kong for 5 years, and being away like that does something to you. It gives you perspective. You see your home country with absolutely fresh new eyes, but it also means that you come back needing to recalibrate. I genuinely needed to relearn who was shaping the UK property industry nowadays. What were people worried about? And crucially, where the real opportunities were actually hiding. That was probably what I was most interested in. And the backdrop I came home to, a lot of you will remember it because it was grim. Brexit uncertainty, it just dominated every single conversation. Nobody knew which way anything was going. George Osborne had done the Section 24. It just had landed at that point. And for those who don't know, that fundamentally has changed the tax position for buy-to-let landlords almost overnight. And it was a brutal, brutal awakening for a lot of people. I mean, I remember telling my dad about it, and he just could not believe that we were going to be taxed on revenue and not profit. It was just something completely crazy. But interest rates were at a rock bottom, which sounds lovely, except everyone with half a brain, including myself, I will take the credit, knew that they could only really go one way over time. They have done since COVID. And on top of all that, the landlord bashing in the media was just getting louder and louder and worse, and on social media. And it was just like conveniently the whipping boy of the month, you know. It was really, really ugly to watch. So there I was, back at home in a market full of fear and uncertainty. And I knew one thing with absolute clarity: standing still was not an option. When everyone else is frozen, that's exactly when you need to be moving. Carefully, but moving. In 2008, I did actually slow down, and I promised myself I'd never let another squeeze like that go to waste. I'd be absolutely ready to make the most of it on the next time it came around, and I knew that it was going to be coming around pretty soon. So what was the question? The question was, where was the opportunity still hiding? And I wasn't going to find it sitting at home, reading a book, watching YouTube videos. I know. You've got to get out there after you watch this. I had to go out and find it. Simply That is what it is. Nothing more, nothing less. So what I actually did was I actually started calling up my old network, old managers that I'd worked for, old companies that I'd worked for. I started to go to events, these were conferences in the Excel in London, property investor show, that sort of thing, just to meet more people. But I also started watching a lot of YouTube videos, and I started reading a lot of books. I started going on Amazon and just ordering anything about property investment, about HMOs, about buy-to-lets, about commercial conversions, whatever it might be. I just started buying these books, and I just started reading them one by one and seeing who I should follow, what kind of, what was the flavor of the day, what was the action. And there was one particular book that I read that I highly recommend. It's a great book, really well written, and it was very, very helpful. And it's called Property Magic by Simon Zucci. Really, really great book. And it tells you about how to find motivated sellers. And that way you can find the buildings and the land and the properties that have the margins in it. So it all makes sense. But interestingly, in that book, every few pages, it would mention that there's a networking event where you can get out and go and meet people. And if you go to this link in the book, it'll open you up to a whole list of networking events around the country. So I was like, the first few times I was thinking, oh, this is, random stuff, or, like it's standard stuff that you'd find in a textbook. Go and check this and download this thing. You put it on an email mailing list. And I just thought nothing of it. But when I got to the end of the book, it mentioned it one more time. And I thought, let me just type it in and see what happens, because it also said that you get your first ticket for free, which I thought, what have I got to lose? I went on the website and I found a whole list of networking events all across the country. And there was one down the road from me in East London at Canary Wharf, one of the financial capitals of the world. So I thought, let me just go down there, see what it's about. Feeling a little bit awkward, like I'm going to some sort of AA meeting or something. I'm going to be really, really out of place. There's like these property addicts. I don't know. I don't even know who, anyway, I had no idea what was going to happen, but I thought I just need to go and find out where these deals are. And I'm going to go down almost any avenue that's half reasonable to see what happens. So when I got there, I ended up booking on, getting my free ticket, ended up going down there. And I remember walking in the room super duper nervous. I was so anxious. I wasn't quite sure what to expect. There was a whole bunch of people sitting on chairs facing the front. There was a speaker. I got there just after the initial networking session had finished, which is normally how these networking events work. And then there's a presentation. There's a few sponsors. But everything that I saw and everything that I heard so far was pretty good. I was quite pleasantly surprised. I thought, yeah, they're talking my language. They seem quite well presented. And yeah, what's the fear here? And then they start talking about deals and what kind of deals they were doing on, what kind of finance arrangements they were getting. And I thought, actually, this is really interesting. But then I thought also, what is this kind of cult? Maybe they're trying to pull me into some sort of pyramid scheme. It was absolutely crazy. But having spoke to a few people during the break and at the end, I thought that actually there's something here. And there was a few people that were similar age, doing similar things. And I thought, actually, what's the harm in this? So I started networking. And one thing led to another. I mean, I started networking relentlessly. I started going to see more and more people. They would say, hey, have you heard about this event? Have you heard about that event? This was a big national chain. There's also like the Progressive Property Network, the PPN events. Then there was the independent events. These are smaller events. And they'd be all across London and all across the country. And I was quite agnostic as to where I was going to invest. I just wanted good returns. So I thought, wow, all these different people, all this, the whole country is at it. And I need to go and meet all these people and see where the best deals are, where the best properties are. So when I say relentlessly, sometimes 3 or 4 nights a week, I'd head out to events. I'd get home close to midnight. This would be midweek after hours of listening and talking and learning and connecting. And it was just like, I was like a sponge. I'd soak all of it up. Then up the next morning and I'd do it all again. And here's what that actually built, because this isn't airy fairy good vibes stuff. This is like literally concrete stuff that I'm trying to share with you here. The exploration led me directly to building another high yielding income producing portfolio outside of London. Some properties in London. I started buying and selling a bunch of properties because the conversations I was having were pointing me to where the yields actually were, and nothing that I could check online. Yes, you can go to a Savills or a Rightmove or a Zoopla and it says, go and invest in this location or that location. But there's people out there that are actually achieving these things. I'm asking them, what rents are you getting? What are you buying for? How much are you building for? I was getting this feedback direct. And then it also pushed me much deeper into development finance, which became a huge part of my career. And eventually it led me to launching Merryoaks, my property finance brokerage, in late 2021. And let me tell you, there were people telling me, be be careful of these places. Don't go to them. Including my dad actually told me, he said, I'm spending 20 quid on this ticket, £50 on that ticket. And he was like, wait, don't do any of that crazy stuff, man. Like, you don't know what cult you're going to get sucked into. And he was very, very skeptical. But here's the thing, none of it actually happened entirely by accident. It happened because I kept leaving my front door. And it wasn't just the big strategic stuff. It was the people. Over the years, the rooms I walked into gave me surveyors, solicitors, agents, contractors, architects, professionals who've later become absolutely key parts of real projects, and clients. As I've talked about in a previous video on whether anyone can be a property developer, and I'll link it up here for you, you cannot do this alone. This is a team game. You need to be a team. Team, as people call it. The people you call when a deal needs solving at 9 p.m. on a Friday. An enormous chunk of mine came from networking, from conversations that only started up because I bothered to turn up. And then this will also translated back online because I'd be introduced into Facebook groups or WhatsApp groups. It was unbelievable how quickly the whole network just blew up. But here's the most important thing. These are conversations that only started because I bothered to turn up in person. You have to leave your front door. Did it all go perfectly? No. Of course not. I had wasted evenings, awkward conversations, events that went nowhere, frankly forgettable journeys I went all the way to Blackpool in the northwest. I was in Bolton, I was in Sheffield, I was in Swansea in Wales, I was in Bristol, I was in Bath. I was absolutely all over the place. I was literally going anywhere and everywhere. I was on the south coast, I was in Kent, I was, you name it. I was in Swindon. I went to all these places to be able to find the deals, find the people that I was going to work with. And it made everything else that I was trying to achieve so much easier overall. The hit rate doesn't need to be high. You just need the ones that land. So even though lots of it was a pain in the ass, lots of it went nowhere, the most important thing that it just in general made everything easier overall. So think about it this way. If you're going to do event after event, the hit rate doesn't need to be high. There will be within that volume, the quality that comes from it. Now, I have to be honest with you because this channel is nothing if I'm not honest. There was a funny human cost to all this at the time. My now wife found it more than a little peculiar that I was out so many evenings a week. And I get it. Think about it from her side, honestly. What kind of respectable professional is out night after night after night? Like normally people do their day jobs, they go 9 to 5, but I was getting home night after night after night, getting home near midnight. I mean, in her words, more or less, no professional does that unless they've got a dodgy drinking habit. I mean, the funny thing was I wasn't even drinking. And on occasion I would have the odd drink. So sometimes I'd come home smelling of alcohol, but I was like, you know what, it's the third night on the trot, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Those were my nights that I'd go out. And sometimes, you have a drink because it's been a grueling day. Like, it doesn't mean I wake up any later. I'm not waking up at 11 a.m. and starting the day at noon. I'm still getting up at 6, 7 o'clock, and I'm still at my desk by 8 or 9 o'clock. That never changed. So I get it. I mean, she even had to come to some of the events just to be able to prove that what I was doing. And she thought, wow, this is pretty incredible that you're doing this regularly. You must be on a mission. And believe me, I was. I mean, think about it. It doesn't genuinely fit the normal pattern of a working person. So in the end, it all clicked in her mind. She walked into these rooms and saw that I wasn't out getting up to no good. I was building something. She saw rooms full of driven, thoughtful, switched on people. I mean, she was like completely mind blown. She saw the conversations, the learning, genuine exchange of ideas, and hard-won experience. And she understood the passion and the intent behind it. And after that, she's just like completely got it. And look, let me be straight about something else because I think it's important and not many people say it. It was a lot easier when I was single. I'll be honest. Late nights, travel, properties scattered all over the country. All that is simpler when you've only got yourself to think about. No kids, no wife. Your friends are on the back burner. I mean, energy is easier to spend when there's nobody waiting at home for you. For me, it's a bit more of a personal thing that it's a bit more lonely if you do it that way. But if you're at a different stage of life with kids and a partner and responsibilities, I'm not telling you to be out 4 nights a week. I'm really not, because I know that that's tough. But I am telling you that even now, even with everything else, I still believe it's one of the most valuable uses of your time for anyone serious about property investment development. You just have to be smarter and more selective about it. That's all. Before we continue, a quick word from our sponsors, Merryoaks Property Finance. Merryoaks Property Finance is my finance brokerage, and I've been in property for 25 years. I started Merryoaks Property Finance in 2021, and we support investors and developers just like you, just like me, across the country with all of their funding requirements. So if it's bridging finance, development finance, commercial, buy to let, multi-unit freehold blocks, VAT bridging, HMOs, hotels, industrial, the whole 9 yards, we can support you with that. Please reach out if you have a funding requirement, you need support with it, you want to speak to one of our experts, you want to speak to me directly, please reach out, let us know, and I look forward to speaking with you soon. Now, back to the video. That's all. Right, let me clear up biggest misconception about networking, because it's the thing that stops most people from doing it well. Networking is not all about pitching. Yes, you get the chance to talk about what you do, and you should be able to, and that's why you're going out there. But it's not all about selling. Although, of course, you can and you should have that quietly in the back of your mind, but that's not the heart of it. To me, network is mostly about listening, learning, and connecting dots, connecting people, finding solutions to problems. So when I say it's about learning, it's what other people are seeing out there that you can't see from your desk. It's about understanding where the capital is moving and why. It's about physically being present in the rooms where ideas are forming, strategies are being argued over, and where the real moves are being made. And this is all before they come out into the public domain, before they're in the headlines, and before they're obvious to everybody else. You'll see them in the headlines months down the line, because here's the truth as well. I keep coming back to opportunities rarely arrive by email out of nowhere. They just don't. Far more often, they're created through a conversation. How many developers do I know say that they got a call from somebody about a deal? That's only because they were connected up front. So someone introducing you to someone who introduced you to someone else, that's the actual mechanism of how opportunity moves. And if you want to be in this industry, you can't be part of that whole cycle, that whole network, that whole connectivity from your sofa. So a few quick tips on how to actually do it well. So if you're going to do this, do it properly. 1, just turn up consistently. The magic isn't in any single event, it's in becoming a familiar face. The 5th time someone sees you, they trust you in a way that they didn't the first time. Consistency beats intensity. 2, lead with listening and giving, not taking. Walk in asking, who can I help here? Not who can I get something from? I mean, it sounds soft, but it's actually the most commercially powerful mindset there is, because people do business with people who've helped them. 3, always follow up, and follow up fast. This is where 90% of people fail. You have a brilliant chat, you swap details, and then nothing. Within a day or 2, that's it. The relationship's dead. What a waste of time. However, within a day or 2, if you send a short personal message and follow up, and you mention something specific you've talked about so that they know you are actually listening, that's it. That little tiny habit is worth more than the event itself. 4, quality over quantity, or the other way around. Now, there's 2 schools of thought with this. I believe you should go and try and connect with as many people as possible and then follow up. But some people prefer to go into the room and just have 2 or 3 real conversations with the right people, and it beats a stack of business cards that you'll from people that you'll never ever speak to again. And I think within the volume, you'll get the quality when you follow up, and you've got to have a process for that. So I mean, I'm happy to have this conversation with anybody offline as to what their preferences are and what they should be doing. But ultimately, if you ask me, quality comes from quantity. And through having that huge network of all these different people, people start coming to you because they know you are the right person. You build up what I'd call a little black book of the property world. And that, honestly, becomes one of your most valuable assets in this whole business. Okay, so you're sold. Go networking is the useless advice without telling you where to go. So let me give you 3 rooms I genuinely rate, all of which we get behind through Merryoaks. So I'm not recommending these from the outside. I'm in them day to day and sponsoring them. We're putting money behind it. So I really, really believe in these. Number 1, the Central London Property Network. This is, in my view, one of the strongest rooms in the country. It's run by Brendan Quinn. It runs monthly at the London Bridge Hotel right by London Bridge Station. And it's one of the longest standing independent property meets in the UK. It's been going for over 15 years, which in this world is almost unheard of. It's a brilliant mix of panels, presentations, and just proper hardcore networking before, in the middle, and at the end. event, and the crowd is genuinely active investors and developers and property professionals, not tire kickers. Yes, there are the new people, the newbies, and that makes up a portion of them, but there's a very experienced crowd. We're proud sponsors. I'm not hiding that at all. Merryoaks Property Finance sponsors it, and I do actually do the finance update on stage. So if you come along, please come, say hello, find me, and tell me you watch the YouTube channel, and it would honestly, it'll just make my night. Number 2, the UK Homes Network Live. That's coming to London. Now, this one's a completely different flavor, and I love it for that. It's deliberately social first. They call themselves the anti-beige property event, which I really like. And honestly, that's exactly right. So no awkward hotel function rooms, no being lectured for 2 hours. It's a high energy, food and drink included, built purely around real connection. The London one is on the 19th of November at the Motel Studios in Hoxton. It's a proper character event, and I do love these types of places and these spaces. So we're sponsoring it again. So come down, say hello, meet the Merryoaks team. We'll all be there, and it's going to be a great day, evening. I look forward to seeing you there. And number 3, the Property and Entrepreneur Summit up in Milton Keynes. This one is a big day out. It's on a Saturday. It's the annual summit, which runs each year, and it brings over 400 ambitious investors and developers, sources, entrepreneurs, all into one room at the Ridgeway Center. And what I really respect about it, it's their really strict no pitching from the stage policy. So the content is genuinely valuable, and not a day of people just trying to sell you a course, getting you to run to the back of the room, all that nonsense. None of this stuff is, to be honest, which I'm really happy to say. It's a fantastic high energy day, and we get involved every year, and it's just a lot of fun, and they put on some great food as well. Now, those 3 are London and Milton Keynes, and I know a lot of you watching aren't anywhere near these areas. So let me give you the most important bit of practical advice in this whole video. You do not need to travel to the capital to do this. There are brilliant nationwide networks with a meeting happening near you wherever in the country you are. And they're often monthly events, often for the price of a few pints. I think I'd be doing an honest disservice to you if I didn't tell you about the 2 biggest to look at. And they're the PIN Network, the Property Investor Network. Simon Zucchi's one, I've mentioned his book here as well. And the Property Investors Network at PPN, the Progressive Property Network. PIN was founded back in 2003 by Simon Zucchi. He wrote the Property Magic book I told you about. I think it's a very good book, and it's grown into probably the most established property networking organization in the country, with something like 40 plus meetings every single month across around 50 towns and cities or something like that. It's pretty huge. So there's almost certainly a local PIN meeting within striking distance of you. I'll put the link on the screen here, so just have a look at that. Go to the website. You get the first ticket for free as well. And you get the PPN, the Progressive Property Network, set up by Rob Moore and Mark Homer. They run local events in most major cities across the UK. One of the guys that I know really well does one in Stratford in London. I know that might not be a help for a lot of people around the country, but go and check out, I'll leave the link here for them as well below. Go and check them out and see where your local meeting is, and go down there and start connecting. I mean, those are just 2 of the bigger national ones. I think they're the biggest ones, and they're pretty reputable in my opinion. There are loads of fantastic independent meets too as well, run by passionate local people all over the country. If you find you go to those national ones, you'll find the other people in your local area, and every region has them. So here's my genuine challenge for you this week. Go and find the nearest one to you, book a ticket, turn up, and start finding people to work with. That's it. That's the whole game. Don't overthink it. Stop all the internal dialogue. Just do it. Find your nearest room and get in it. And if you want a steer on which event might suit you specifically, wherever you are, whatever stage you're at, what you're into, is it service accommodation, is it commercial conversion, is it development? And if you want to steer on which event might suit you specifically on like wherever you are, or what stage you're at, or what you're actually into, whether it be commercial conversions, ground up developments, subletting, subleasing, and rent to rents, genuinely just reach out to me or leave a comment below. I'm always happy to share what I know, and I'm sure that everybody else will happily chip in as well and help you. And really, this is the whole philosophy behind everything I try to do, including this channel and including Property People, the podcast and platform I founded specifically to share ideas, stories, problems, and solutions with all the property professionals in the industry. And really, this is the whole philosophy behind everything I try to do, including this channel and including Property People. It's the podcast and platform I founded specifically to share ideas, experiences, problems, solutions, stories with property professionals, because Property People is just networking in another form. It's the same instinct. Get the right people in the room, get them talking honestly, and everybody leaves a little bit wiser, whether that's bar in London Bridge or a YouTube comment section. The principle never changes. We're all better when we're connected and learning from each other. So this whole thing, the late nights, the events, the channel, the podcast, it's all the same belief that you do not build a serious property career alone. You build it in rooms, in conversations, in relationships that compound over years. And of course, I must mention this, the most valuable relationships in any deal is the people who arrange your finance. That's what we do at Merryoaks Property Finance. We work with investors and developers on deals from 1 million, 30 million pounds. We do the sub 1 million stuff. That's where my investment portfolio is at. But we do a huge amount of adding value to investors and developers and landlords. The stuff we're talking about today, relationships, knowing the right lender for the right deal, being properly plugged into the market, knowing the valuers, knowing the underwriters, knowing the heads of credit and head of risk. So whether you catch me at one of these events or you'd rather just drop us a line, head over to merryoaks.com. All the links are in the show notes, and let's start a conversation, because that, more than anything, is how good things tend to begin. So that's the real story. Networking didn't just help my career. In a lot of ways, it was my career. It was my entire career. And if you're just starting out or you're feeling a little bit stuck right now, I cannot recommend it strongly enough. Leave your front door, turn up, stay curious, be consistent. The opportunities are really out there, but they're sitting inside conversations that you haven't had yet because you haven't met that person yet. And finally, 2 things for the comments, and I really do read every single one. First, what's the best thing that's ever come out of a networking event for you? A deal, a partner, a mentor, a mate? And I've heard all of the above because I've networked so much. I ask people these questions and I've heard all of the above, and I love these. And second, if you never go, be honest with me. What's actually stopping you? Is it nerves? Is it time, which is a big one, I think, for a lot of people? Not knowing where to start? I mean, tell me below and let's see if I can help. And of course, please, please, please subscribe, because next time I'm going to tell you full story of how I built that high-yielding, income-producing portfolio outside of London. The strategy, the numbers, the mistakes, because a lot of you have asked. And let's be honest, it's going to be a good one. So if you enjoyed this one, hit the subscribe button, share it with everybody, leave us a comment, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.